Well, the weather outside might be frightful, but perhaps not as frightful as some of our reports on the ATS News. Hi, everybody. I'm Johnny Anonymous. Let's see what's garnering a lot of attention here at the world's #1 conspiracy website, AboveTopSecret.com. It is said that we live in a disposable era that is constantly changing and evolving. ATS member To the 10th Power recently created a new thread discussing things that have become obsolete this decade. Some of these obsoletes, according to an article posted in the Huffington Press, included the classifieds in the newspaper, dial-up internet, encyclopedias, fax machines, film and film cameras, catalogs, and handwritten letters. Of course, a number of our membership immediately had to add to this list with some of their own obsoletes, including the pay telephone, pagers, gaming arcades, and I'm especially fond of these two by member Spartan King Leonidas, who said these were also obsolete, an honest politician and common sense. We'd like to encourage you to feel free to add your own obsoletes to this thread. Many of us have heard the rumors of the utilization of a world currency, and it appears now that the United Nations may be the first to release such a commodity. The gold coin called the Euro bears the logo of the United Nations, and it's hoped to contribute to making the UN better funded by the year 2015, with revenue rising hopefully by 10 to 15%. The coins are set to be produced in Europe and then distributed globally, with each licensee able to produce such bullion under a specialized contract. According to a thread created by Silent Thunder, this is the first time ever that the UN has created a one world currency. It represents a massive power shift on a global level, according to him, and has geostrategic implications, including how people pay for and fight for energy sources, how world trade is conducted and settled, and how this could possibly impact the dollar and other national currencies. Of course, many members, including Protoplasmic Traveler, thinks it's a way for the UN to get in on the commemorative precious metals coin market and to start getting into the currency business from a marketing standpoint. But then, according to him, that's about it. Others, like Optimus Prime, wanted to remind us of an article featuring Russian President Dmitry Medvedev pulling out a new world currency from his pocket and presenting it to the leaders at the last G8 conference. According to an article at CommodityOnline.com, they claim there is a danger that if the U.S. dollar weakens, there will be a strong move towards the UN Euro. In turn, this could potentially drive the value of the coin up to a level where international governments will not allow it to be circulated. This is, of course, not the first time the UN has created any coins, but they were previously created purely for commemoration in the 70s, and they held no monetary value except to collectors. Could this change with the release of the new gold Euro? To be or not to be? That is the question. Well, actually, that is a great question, since member Danium has posted an article that questions whether or not William Shakespeare's work may have been written by Francis Bacon and may have also included Freemason rituals. These are the conclusions based on the findings of a Norwegian code cracker by the name of Petter Admundsen, made in his documentary called Sweet Swan of Avon. Our ATS member adds, if Admundsen gains recognition for his theories, the history of literature will have to be rewritten. He will be forever known as the man who cracked Shakespeare's big riddle. And if he fails, he will just be another fanatic in line with naive conspiracy theorists. ATS member Modern Academia brings to our attention a news item that many had suspected going on for quite a while, and that is that Israel had been harvesting organs from slain bodies, including Palestinians, without the permission from their families during the 1990s. According to an article linked by the Associated Press, the then head of Israel's main forensic institute, Dr. Jehuda Hiss, in an interview in 2000 said organs were being taken from dead bodies without the family consent. The interview by an American academic was kept from the public, but he decided to release it now because of a controversy last summer over allegations by a Swedish newspaper that Israel was killing Palestinians to harvest their organs. Israel hotly denied the charges and demanded an apology from the Swedish newspaper. And now, with the release of this interview, Israel now acknowledges that authorities had indeed harvested organs from dead bodies for transplant purposes in the 90s. Organs from Palestinians, Israelis, and foreign workers were stolen without permission from the relatives of the deceased. Dr. Hiss was dismissed from the institute in the 2004 year, and Israel's Channel 2 TV quoted the health ministry saying that the practice of harvesting stopped over a decade ago. Of course, the ATS membership reaction included such responses such as this one by Peruvian monk, who said, "This kind of thing does happen all over the world, including in my own country. You do remember the great Ormond Street Hospital scandal, don't you?" December Rain said, "Whole thing sounds right from the experiments conducted on humans in Auschwitz camps." Event Horizon added this by saying, "I'm Jewish. Religion and nationality are irrelevant. The person who revealed these facts is also Jewish. Those responsible, whoever and wherever they are, need to be brought to justice. These criminals cared not about the nationality of their victims. They harvested bodies of their own citizens, Jews and Palestinians." Shakespeare 1 related this, "My general observation about the mistreatment of people shows me that when small evils are allowed and tolerated to be done to people, then this becomes the seeds for greater evil." He continues by adding, if there had been no oil, in the Middle East, we would have had a very different situation happening today. The issue is about oil and gas that is running out. Well, a bit of a frenzy has been going on here at AboveTopSecret.com since ATS member and moderator Helmut first created a thread entitled "Spectacular Phenomena in the Sky, What Is It?" which is, of course, about the Norway spiral. And although the Russians, who first denied, then later claimed that it was a failed missile launch, many of the membership are still seeking answers as they disagree with the official claims. A number of well-thought-out threads have been posted, and we would just like to point your attention to a few of these. ATS member Toristricus, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name, created a thread called "The Norway Spiral, Russia Accepts Blame, Even Though Norway May Have Been Responsible." He went into great detail and presentation in his attempts to debunk the missile theory with his thoughts that it has to be something else other than a missile. Now, whether you agree or disagree with what his intensive research presents, we do indeed applaud his efforts, and would like to point your attention especially to page 13, which has new photographs from other eyewitnesses that haven't been seen before that are equally spectacular on the Norway spiral. And in response to his thread, another author by the name of DanMan23 of ATS created a thread of his own entitled "Tequila Sunrise, aka Norway Spiral, Proof It Was a Scientific Experiment," in which he outlines a project by IceCat, which is the HARP equivalent, called Project Tequila Sunrise, which involves meteor dust studies with VHF and heaters. Some of the more interesting new aspects of this phenomena was finding out on page 9 that the ATS member Amance actually emailed Dr. Antti Kiro at IceCat about the spiral and its possible relation to their project. In a return email, Dr. Kiro did in fact confirm that IceCat did proceed with a project about 10 minutes after the aerial display. But he also stated, obviously, our study had no connection to the rocket, which came as a surprise for all of us in IceCat. The purpose of my radar run was, and still is for the next few days, to study the effects of the Geminids meteor shower to the mesosphere in the polar sunrise conditions. In a final thread that we are reviewing, Alex, I'll take strange lights over Norway for 1,000. ATS member Let the Reader Understand posted in their thread a number of links to a patent for a cyclotron that he believes has similarities in creating a spiral effect. And I quote from the patent, "Artificial particles can be added to the region which is excited by the electron-cyclotron resonance in any manner, such as from a rocket." Now, we're sure that the debate will continue, but we here at AboveTopSecret.com think that the thought, research, and conjecture that many of our members like these are exactly what ATS is all about, and we salute you. Outsourcing became part of the business lexicon during the 1980s, and many of us have experienced outsourcing, for example, when we have called up for tech support and being helped by someone from a country overseas that can barely speak English. Brought to our attention by ATS member B. Morrison and in earlier threads by member Chad Wickus, this story is unlike any outsourcing story you may have heard of before. It involves a company called Serco, and they just might be the largest corporation that you've never heard of. They handle the outsourcing worldwide for prisons, detention centers, air traffic controllers, immigration centers, transportation, state-run schools, ballistic missile management, and in fact, they handle Britain's entire nuclear arsenal. They are so good at running things, they even run time itself as they hold the contracts for managing and setting Greenwich Mean Time. Now, one would think that the managing of prisons, immigration, and nuclear facilities would be best done by the government. But that's not a problem for Serco, as over 85% of its workforce is made up of ex-public servants that already have the necessary contacts in government. Now, while other companies are struggling to stay afloat, Serco has had a growth of over 1,200%. They are linked to the United Kingdom's common purpose, perhaps a term that you've heard used repeatedly by political leaders, including our very own president in speeches. Many of the ATS membership see red flags galore in the New World Order Department when it comes to Serco, including ATS member Drunken Shrew, who stated their involvement in numerous countries makes them a major global player who is interested in building an interconnected governmental corporate cartel. Serco is also starting to infiltrate military, education, police systems, and other areas in Germany. Member Paradox posted that this is the sort of thing ATS members should be looking into. This is a type of organization that can turn corrupt and is corrupt and deals with the dirty inner workings of government. There are also several must-watch video links in this thread that go into more detail on Serco, and we here at ATS would love to have your participation in helping us connect the dots on how far its global arm actually stretches out in a possible NWO conspiracy. You know, after reading about all the conspiracies here at AboveTopSecret.com, sometimes it's nice to take a mental break from it all. And so we tip our tinfoil hats to ATS member Grant Bede, who posted up some tantalizing visual eye candy for all of us to enjoy with a post entitled 2009 20 Astounding Photos of Space. Now, even if you're not a lover of all the wonders of the universe, this thread will certainly not disappoint you. And you know, it just never ceases to amaze me how beautiful space is. And strangely, it makes me feel very small all at the same time. I'm sure you're going to enjoy looking at these beautiful photographs. Well, friends, that's going to do it for all the staff members here at ATS News. We thank you for joining us and hope you will do so again real soon. Remember, if it's not on AboveTopSecret.com, then it probably doesn't matter. We'll catch you next time. Take care.